Hey everyone, in this session, let's understand classes and objects in Python. Before going into the details of classes and objects, let's understand it with some analogy. The car manufacturing starts with the design of the car. All the designers design a car and that design goes to the factory to implement the same. Now based on the single design, factory can manufacture a number of cars. In factory, car will be colored, engine will be placed into the car and then finally it will be ready to use. Final products will come out from the factory. Now how can we differentiate between first car and the second car? Based on their colors. That means this color is nothing but a property by which we can differentiate between multiple cars. Not only colors, it can be engine type or model name, everything are the properties by which we can differentiate between two different cars. Now using Python code, our aim is to solve real-time problem statements. We can automate a car manufacturing plant using Python code. We can manage a parking lot or we can manage an elevator or lift in your house using Python code. That is our final goal. And enterprise Python codes are actually solving these real-time problem statements. Let's understand how our understanding with this example helps us to understand class and object concepts in Python. Remember, class and objects in Python are very important concepts to understand in order to solve real-time problem statements. Class is a code segment to define the template or blueprint of an object. Similar to this design, using class we can design an object. Still now, even after defining class, we cannot use the object in reality because that is still in design phase. Once we are done with the class definition or the design of the object, we construct the object. Similar thing is happening in this factory also. We color the car, we place the specific type of engines. All these things are part of the construction phase. Using constructor in Python, we can initialize all these properties, for example color of a car, using a special method or a function called init. We will understand how to use init and details about init during our coding session. Object is the instance of a class. That means once this design changed into the final product, that is called object. If you see, 8 cars are present here. These 8 cars are nothing but 8 different objects in Python. Object is nothing but a variable of type class. That means the actual implementation of this design is an object. We can create any number of objects for a specific class. If you see here, we have created only one design. However, we are manufacturing hundreds of cars of same design. Only properties will be different. For example, in some cars, the engine type will be a petrol engine. In another car, there could be electric engine. In some cars, there can be 2 airbags. On the other hand, in some cars, there could be 6 airbags. Only properties will be different among objects. However, the actual design is exactly same what we have done here. In class, we will design it once. In objects, we can create multiple objects out of the same class. Hope class and object concept are clear to you. Let's see an example to understand how we can write Python code to define classes and create objects. In this example, if you see, there is a keyword called class. Class is a keyword, that means Python interpreter has a special meaning to this word class. Using class keyword, we can create a class or a design of objects or the blueprints of objects. Within class, we can initialize the property values. A car has multiple properties. Color, number of airbags, engine types are few among them. Using init function, we can initialize these properties of an object. We will understand what is self later. Not only properties or attributes, we can even define some methods for an object. Till now, we have understood how to define a function. This is also a function. As it is present within a class, we will tell it a method instead of a function. Once we have defined a special method called init to initialize the attribute, for simplicity I have depicted only one method here. However, based on your use case, you can have multiple methods defined within a class. Once we have defined the whole class like this, we can create multiple objects out of the same class. If you see here, card1, card2 and card3 are nothing but different objects of the same class card. If you look closely, you can see only the property values are different here. Card1 is of red color, card2 is of blue color, card3 has 6 airbags and a diesel engine in it. By these property values, we can differentiate between card1 and card2. Remember, whenever we are writing card and within bracket the property values, it is internally calling the init function, what we have defined here. We will keep self aside to understand it later. However, if you see, red will go within color, 2 will go within airbag, petrol will go within engine type. Similarly, for car 3, white will be the value of color, 6 will be the airbag count and diesel engine will be there. Let's go to the PyCharm now to understand classes and objects in Python. In this source code, if you see, we have used class keyword to define a class. Name of the class is car. Within car, we have to initialize the properties or attributes of a class. We can define a number of methods based on our use case. Once that is done, we are done with the class definition. After writing the class definition, we can create the objects. Once the objects are ready, that means we can use those objects in our code. Write all the codes to access specific attributes or methods of objects. This is the skeleton of any Python object-oriented programming. Let's see a concrete example now. Here in card class, basically we have defined a special function or a method called init. Init is a constructor by which we can provide values of each and every properties. Here color, airbag and engine types are properties of car object. Self represents the current instance or the object we are creating. Self.color will initialize the color of that object. Self.airbag will initialize the number of airbags of that object. These color, airbag and engine types are nothing but arguments we will be passing during our object creation. We are aware of Python functions. Init is also a special kind of Python function. So we can pass arguments while calling this function init. Color, airbag and engine types are nothing but the arguments of this function, and we are setting all these arguments to the object properties. This color is the object property, this color is the argument we are passing. This airbag is the property of the object. However, this airbag is nothing but the argument we are passing. Hope you have understood how to define init method within a class. This is nothing but a constructor. You can assume it's like a car factory where the color will be painted, the engine will be placed, airbag will be attached. Now comes to the methods. We can add any number of methods here based on our use case. In this case, I have just added an example method to show you how to define a method within a class. Once we define the object methods and the init method, we are done with the class definition. After class definition, we can use that class to instantiate a number of objects. Remember, whenever we are calling car here, it's internally calling the init function, because init is the constructor. Whenever we are constructing a specific object, init method will be called, and all these parameters whatever we are passing within car will be assigned appropriately. Now if you see here, I have defined 3 different car objects. Each and every object can be identified uniquely based on their property values. If someone is pointing to the white car, we can clearly tell that this is nothing but a car 3. After defining the objects, we can use those objects for our use case. For simplicity, I have showed you here how to access the methods you have defined within a class and the attributes you have set within a class. Using object name and the property name, we can get the value. In this case, car2.engineType will always give me electric. Not only reading those properties and accessing the methods, we can even modify the value of a property. If you see here, the car3 color was white initially. After this 41 line, we have changed the color of car3 to black. And now if I display car3, then we can see the car color will be black. Let's run this program to validate our understanding. Once we are displaying car 1, as you can see here, car color is red and airbag count is 2. Why? Because that is what we have defined and created an object here. Engine type of car 2 is electric. The color of car 3 initially was white, but after changing the color, you can see now the car 3 color has been changed to black. Let's summarize our understanding. Class is a keyword using which we can create a class. Within class, we can provide constructor or init method and few other methods we would like to define based on our use case. Once we have completed the class definition, we can create objects using the same class. We can create multiple objects out of a single class, as you can see here in this example. Only the property values are different. Once we have created the objects, now we can use those objects to perform some logic based on our use case. Here we have understood how to access properties and methods of an object. We use dot operator to access properties and methods. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Thanks a lot for watching this video.